What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. Guys, I've been talking a lot about Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General of Louisville, Kentucky. He's a professional school graduate. I've attended professional school, still attending. And a lot of people didn't like my commentary on, calling him a particular sellout for how he ruled in the case. I've called people sellouts a lot of times. I could call him that for other reasons, particularly for who he's dating and marrying. And you guys know that I would call anybody that by that logic, usually, depending on the situation. So if we want to talk about it there, yes. But for how he ruled on the case, I cannot necessarily say I will call him a sellout based on that. I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion. But people were very upset about my previous video about Daniel Cameron. And there's an article written by a young lady by the name of Charisse Frazier. She wrote a really, really great article on Madame Noir. And she said, by calling Megan Thee Stallion's Saturday Night Live performance disgusting, Daniel Cameron again proves that he isn't interested in protecting black women. Now it talks about how, Malcolm X's 1962 speech says the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. And, same thing that Megan Thee Stallion is saying. And I won't disagree with Mrs. Frazier. I don't know if she's married or not, because she's right. Malcolm X is a hero of mine. The Honorable Malcolm X is also correct. But the one thing that I like about Daniel Cameron is with him, you know what you're dealing with. All right? You know that he's a Republican, he's a Trump supporter. Culturally, one would say that while being educated, if I didn't look at Daniel Cameron, I would assume he's a white person by just listening to his phonetics of his voice. Culturally, he is a Caucasian man more so than an African American. Like me, I'm an intelligent guy. I would like to think so, but culturally, I'm a African American to the core. You can tell that in my voice. You can tell it in my phonetics and everything. Daniel Cameron is not like this, okay? And so when a black person like Daniel Cameron, for whatever reason, decides that the greater society is better for them, not working with the African American community is not in their best interest, and moving up in the white establishment, dating out of the race, and adhering to principles that are out of box thinking for the typical African American, which is, not calling out white supremacy, why not calling out racism, and pretty much blaming everything on blacks, which, black conservatives are known to do. At this point, that he's not going to protect black women. Now, Breonna Taylor is a case, in my opinion, that's very, very controversial. And I'm in between. But a guy like this, it's not his job to protect black women. He's an attorney general. His job is to, according to his position, to protect what is the truth. In this case, he felt that the truth was with the police officers. Now, people may have evidence that he tampered with something. I don't know. But listen to what I'm saying. Again, people want folks who are not interested in the community to protect them. Guys like Daniel Cameron, they're not going to do that. A lot of black men, or you have a good partition of black men in the black community who have moved on. They don't talk about it anymore. They're not complaining about black America anymore. They just left, okay? They've left and they've silently moved on, and they don't talk about it. They're, maybe in an intercultural relationship with somebody else black, a Brazilian, or whoever else, a non-black person, and they're living their life. But the person that should be protecting black women is the guy that you're dealing with. And see, I think that's the problem that we have in the African American community, because a lot of times what some sisters like to do is to date a guy that doesn't offer them any protection, but they're invested in the relationship, let's say financially or sexually or reproducing children with the guy. And then you would want somebody who doesn't have any vested interest in you to offer you protection. And I'm sorry, but you're just not going to get it. All right? The people who have given up on the black community a long time ago, they're done. They don't have to say, well, I have a problem with black people. They don't have to be as vocal as, let's say, Candace Owens and Houdini Unchained, the guy that listened to my channel, said that I was a little suspect because Breonna Taylor had made a video. I didn't hear that video. But let's just use Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor has commentary that could be negative towards the black community. Hey, those people already let you know where they stand. They had a bad experience. They're done. It is what it is. You can't look for them to come out and protect the black community because the vested interest is not theirs. They're not responsible for you anymore. The person who's responsible for you are the men that you associate with in the community that you're involved with. If you pick guys, and some can say that Breonna Taylor was dealing with a man that was not the best idea for her. I'm not saying any of this is her fault. I'm just saying for protection. We're not talking about the case. When it comes to protection, did she pick the right guy? If the answer is yes, that's your prerogative. If the answer is no, then what we do know is Daniel Cameron is not his job. A lot of other black men, not their job. It's the woman's job to want to deal with black men that want to protect you. And see, I want to talk, and George called me, my good buddy George Macon. I didn't have time for his ass, but I'm going to call him. You know what? One thing that I will have to, me and my brother George Macon out of Philadelphia, he's had a influence on my life as much as I've probably had on his. And I could be a little even more hardcore than him in certain things. The thing about it is when you have black men like a George Macon, or black men that I see in the conscious community, and shout out to Sod Netter's channel, brothers that are in the Hotep community, Hebrew Israelite community, Nations of 5%, Nation of Islam, guys who are professing their love for black women in the black community. A lot of times, the men that are interested, even Christian black men, it falls on deaf ears. All right. When black men are interested in wanting to provide for a lot of African American women, we have to be honest and say a lot of our women are not ready mentally to be in a position where a black man who loves you and wants to protect you, that you can be in a relationship with a guy like that. A lot of times, this is a problem. And you have some people in our community that will turn the guy down for whatever reason because he's not interesting enough, he's boring, he's lame, or whatever the reason could be. And then when that guy, who could be a Daniel Cameron, could have been very, very much interested in staying in the community for whatever reason, when that guy doesn't stay there and he has other offers and he doesn't want to deal with the black community anymore, now all of a sudden you want to come back and talk about, well, he has no interest in protecting you. Well, do you have an interest in getting with black men who love you and want to protect you? And do you know what? All across YouTube, you will find black men professing their love for black women. You will find black men calling black women beautiful, black women king. Shout out to brother Q Butter. Brothers, there's a brother Richie that's out there in London. You know, you see brothers all the time in the pro-black community. They're talking about how much they love black women. And do you know what? Those videos don't get a lot of views. They don't get a lot of views. And why are they not getting views? Because a lot of times sisters are not taking that stuff serious. Sisters sometimes, no matter what their academic background, not all but some. Because I think a lot of times good black women who want good black men don't get enough praise. But they're dealing with men who don't have their best interests in heart. And when that man doesn't come to protect you, and if that man is putting you in a bad situation, now there's issues there. There's a problem there. And you know what? That's a little hypocritical. A guy like Daniel Cameron, you already know where he stands. The question is, where do you stand with the men that want to be with you, and how are you receptive to those who want to be with you and you want to establish something with them? Are you serious about wanting to have a relationship with a good black man? If not, then there should be no complaint about this. And I just want to talk about that. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Subscribe, hit the bell. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Comment below, guys. Do that. Check out the first comment pinned to the top. Guys, thank you so much for the love and support. Check out the Black Men Are Perfect t-shirts. Don't forget the Negro Manosphere Awards poll. Make sure you guys vote. Also, check out the Patreon, check out the email. All my information is pinned to the top. The Black Men Are Perfect t-shirts are there. And as you know, the buffoonery always remains at an all-time high. I'm out.